but I'd like to take a moment to thank her for her wonderful service to the state of Connecticut and for her contributions to the council, because she was a wonderful co-leader and we will miss her. So let's give her a round of applause. So now we have the interim DCF commissioner, Susan Hamilton, who's here today. She's no stranger to our council. She's been working with us, and we are so happy to warmly welcome you and thank you for being here. And we'll just ask for a few words.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Lieutenant Governor, for your leadership on this council and for all of your work in promoting the goals of this group. I've been involved in the work of the group and some of the subcommittees, the leadership subcommittees, and had the opportunity to sometimes cover the larger group on behalf of Commissioner Hill Lilly. Been around, I was in this commissioner seat 18 years ago, I think. So it's my second stint in the role, and feel really fortunate to be back in the seat, helping to lead some of the work that we all do. And so just thank to all the members and all the work that gets done, and to the presenters that are speaking here today. And I look forward to the ongoing partnership and to hearing from all of you today. So thanks again, and thank you for the welcome. Appreciate it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Commissioner. So we're going to do a few housekeeping things before we start with our presentations. So we're monitoring the Zoom for the chat, and if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat so that we can get those questions answered. Use the hand raising function if you have a question and if you would like to address our council. So now we're going to move on to our presentations. There are two presentations that we have today. So our first is a presentation from Team Inc. Sorry, my pages were misnumbered. So Team Inc. We're so happy to welcome members of Team Inc. And I think some of the Team Inc. people are going to be also part of Team Connecticut, which is a very beautiful thing. So with that, we're going to ask Team Inc. to start their presentation.
Well, hello, Lieutenant Governor and the Council for Women and Girls. Really grateful and honored to be asked to present on behalf of Team. And before I introduce these three amazing leaders at Team Inc. to my left, and there's many others behind me who are not going to contribute today, but available after this, I would be remiss not to just say thank you, Lieutenant Governor, applaud you, and salute you for your commitment to many of the very same things that is at the corpus of Team's 60-year mission as a not-for-profit community action agency. In the interest of time, I won't get into it, but I have to lift your commitment to childcare and mental health, and some of the things, the horrifying discoveries through COVID-19. Your commitment in partnering with Team in so many towns and cities in Team's region, it wasn't just a one-off. It became a catalyst for state and national recognition to carry forward these things around childcare and mental health because of your leadership and some of the thought partnership of this council. So I want to thank you for that. I have the privilege to turn the ball over, pass the ball over to three incredible leaders to my left. We decided not to talk to leadership. What my recommendation to the council is perhaps follow up with any one of these three leaders to my left. I have Emily Pena here, who was a prior panelist on the Blue Ribbon panel for childcare to talk about childcare workforce and childcare quality in the state of Connecticut. Two individuals to my left, and their contact information is on the slide. Lily McKenzie, who has been a leader at Team on bringing all the sectors together to be part of the Team solutions, part of the Team mission, because our collaborations is the bedrock to our achievements. So how do we engage the public and private sector, residents and government and non-governmental? And Lily's trumpets are often heard on creating those conditions where you bring all those moving parts together to speak to issues such as economic well-being and specific populations vulnerable and above that. And then lastly, Jillian Ruisi, another leader at Team Inc., who is well known leading our community services work, but in recent years is a leader, a co-creator, an author, and presenter and panelist on the Aging CT Conference, the statewide for the state of Connecticut, for older adults trying to enjoy that third trimester of life with dignity and happiness and empowerment. So with that, I have the privilege to turn it over to Emily Pena.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much, David, for the introduction. I'm excited to speak a little bit about the work that we are doing, the amazing work that we are doing with the family childcare providers through these partnerships that we've created over at Team. We do this in a multiple number of ways. We do it, first of all, through our Early Head Start grant. We have 19 partners, 19 licensed family childcare providers who are delivering high quality Head Start services to children and families within the city of Waterbury. They're receiving ongoing coaching, professional development. They have access to tools and training and different resources that are enhancing the care quality. These children in their homes are also having access to early screening, developmental support, and age appropriate activities, making sure that we're meeting those Head Start standards, along with the ongoing support in compliance that they are receiving to meet those state regulations as well, especially around health and safety. The 19 partners that we are currently working with are a smaller number of the larger number, which is 400 licensed family childcare homes in our region. So Team is one of 6 regions that represents Northwest, and we have 400 licensed, but across the state, there's over 1,700 current homes that are licensed to provide childcare. They are receiving the same type of support, meaning they're receiving ongoing professional development. They're receiving resources and different network navigation that helps them to make sure that their businesses are staying open. A fun fact is that the 19 partners that we have are 100% women-owned, and in the region, the 400 licensed home, 99.5% are women-owned businesses.
And are these supported also by the Women's Business Development Council in Stamford?
Yes, when it comes to grants and those types of classes and courses that they can take to make sure that they're able to budget and, remain open.
Because you started mentioning support to ensure that the businesses stay open, and they've been like a huge partner for us in the state since COVID.
Yes, the Women's Business Development Council is one of the partners that we have as well. We, one there, and now I have a perfect example on the slide that's on the screen. We have a provider that came to us, and she wanted, she came with a vision. She wanted to stay home and be with her daughter, and at the same time she wanted to find out how she can serve the community that she was in. And through the work that we did, we helped her in that beginning stage of obtaining a license. At that moment, she wasn't able to get a grant because she hadn't even opened her business yet.
Right.
However, with the supports that we gave her, obtaining her license, connecting her with the group of providers that currently are open, and donations and just that networking, we were able to get her to open, get her license from the state. And if you look at the picture, you can see the before, right? You see the living room where she started before she even opened up. And then a year later, she was able to secure a grant through Women's Business Development Council. And that space was even too small. The living room space was even too small. She wanted to serve more children, help more families, and she wanted to grow. And so we're excited to say that she now is owning her own home, her first home in Waterbury. She expanded the spaces. She's serving more children, more families. But overall, she's opening up every single day, and she's sustaining the business, which is a huge part. During COVID, we realized that a lot of providers didn't even know the difference between a PPP loan and a grant. Like, we did a lot of educating around that, and Women's Business Development Council and other sources are amazing, but the relationship building that we are doing every day before we're passing them on to someone else is really the magic of what's making what we're doing.
Right, because you're finding out who in the community wants to start a business or grow the business, and that's where WBDC comes in.
Yes. So the partnership has really been very important in the success that we're having. And I'll just close off by saying, when you think 400, that really translates into about 2,400 infantile spaces, about 1,200 school age space slots, which just reminds us how important and vital the work that they are doing is, not only in of providing that quality care, but in helping them keep those businesses open. It's very important. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm going to switch gears here and speak about another program that TEAM offers to support economic mobility for individuals in our community, specifically women. Um, as a community action agency serving our region of Connecticut, we have a lot of support programs, and we're supporting people meeting their basic needs. But we want to go beyond that and beyond being a relief-giving organization. We want to dig a little bit deeper and address some of the root causes that are causing people to struggle meeting their daily costs. So on my slide up here, I have the housing wage. The housing wage in Connecticut is over $35 an hour, which means it's recommended that a household spends 30% or less of their income on housing, on their rent or their mortgage. Once you're paying more than 30% of your income, you're making a sacrifice somewhere else, whether that's, putting off a prescription that you really need, or just pushing off bills and building debt. The 30% income, advice on housing is really tough to meet. We're seeing folks come into our building paying 50 to 60% of their income on housing, which is not sustainable. We know that this body is very committed to increasing housing options across our state. We're really excited about the new housing options coming to our region in the Valley, affordable housing options. But we want to take a twofold approach to this. So in addition to addressing some of the rising costs of living, we want to make sure people have good enough paying jobs to meet that cost of living. There's a data study that came out of our region, the Valley Community Index, came out earlier this summer. It asked respondents to identify the top reasons that they or someone in their household was having trouble finding a good paying job. Top reasons are, I don't have the training or education, and there's no one to watch the kids. So I raised childcare again because it can be a primary barrier for women entering the workforce and staying in the workforce. And by offering affordable, reliable access to childcare, it can be a huge help for women entering the workforce, staying in the workforce when their children are young, they're continuing to contribute to Social Security and other retirement incomes. It can have exponential benefits as they head down the road.
So you are making the argument for our early childhood endowment program.
Exactly.
There you
Yes.
go. Yes, indeed.
We
Yes,
all know,
indeed.
we all know there are common sense solutions. Obviously, expanding access to childcare can have exponential benefits, not only for women entering the workforce, but contributing to our state's economy and filling the open jobs. We know that there are really good paying jobs across this state. Another barrier, if we address childcare, is training and the education required to enter some of these really high paying jobs. So if people see the cost of a training program at $1,000, $2,000, $5,000 to go through a 16-week course, they can immediately write themselves off and think, I'll never be able to afford that, and I'm perpetually stuck in my situation. But TEAM has a program called Gaining Access to Independence Now, which helps address the cost of tuition for these training programs. So we're working one-on-one with clients, identifying a career path they might be interested in, covering the cost of their training, but going beyond that and identifying any other barriers that would prevent them from being successful. Could be transportation to and from that training program, sometimes even the cost of books or materials or uniforms. We want to identify any barriers, address them, and give people the best opportunity at finishing their training course and moving on the path to a higher wage and financial security. Up there on the screen, you'll see some of the programs we've worked and helped people build their careers in. For healthcare, particularly, we work with Griffin Health's School of Allied Health Careers, help people get their certifications as CNAs, phlebotomists, patient care technicians, having the ability to go from zero income to $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year or more. And just entering the field, getting that first certification can be a huge catalyst into building somebody's career. For example, we see a lot of people start with their CNA certification and then they're moving on to become LPNs or RNs. Sometimes it just takes taking that first step, jumping into your career and not only getting that certification, but building the confidence to move on to an additional training program or a higher wage job. So we really believe that something as simple as this program and addressing some of those tuition costs can be a huge catalyst in moving someone from a place where they're struggling in their lives to economic mobility and financial security. I'm going to pass over to my colleague, Jillian.
Hi, thank you for having me. Today I'm going to speak about older adult women in the state of Connecticut. 19% of Connecticut's population are seniors, 65 and older, and 27% of seniors live alone. But this population is expected to grow by 57% by 2040. As we know, Connecticut is the seventh oldest state in the United States by median age, and 55% of the older adult population are women. Women are living longer than ever, but they face financial insecurity as they age. Older adult women in Connecticut continue to experience lower earnings due to gender pay gap and due to the fact that many women leave the workforce at some point or another to do caregiving roles. In fact, 44% women make 44% less than men in the same age group. Older adult women are more likely to live on fixed incomes or Social Security income as their only income source. Social Security is the only source of income for 1 in 4 Connecticut residents age 65 and older, and this is higher for women and minorities. Many older adults with incomes above the federal poverty level still lack sufficient income for basic economic security. Nearly 1.5 of all older adults and most elderly women live in economic insecurity during their retirement age. TEAM plays a critical role in supporting the economic security and well-being of older adult women. And as you can see on this slide, for the TEAM's programs that are listed on the slide, the majority of our programs, we serve a higher proportion of older adult women. Last year, we served 921 seniors, and of this population, 57% were women over the age of 60. We operate a Meals on Wheels program to give meals to homebound seniors, but we also operate congregate and cafe meal programs to provide more mobile and people that are able to get out into the community and build socialization and relationships with their peers. We also offer, well, I should say, and women spend an average of $750 annually on adult incontinence products. So we offer an adult incontinence products program to give half a month of supply of products to defray these costs. We serve 146 individuals this past year by providing briefs, wipes, and bed pads, and 78% of this population are women. To greater support aging seniors who may struggle with limitations such as mobility, strength, and stamina, or who may have chronic health conditions impacting their ability to perform daily household chores, we also provide a homemaking service where we assist seniors with housekeeping, dusting, vacuuming, laundry, and shopping. We also offer volunteer caregiving programs to provide telephone reassurance as a means to check in on seniors' well-being every month. And we offer medical transportation program with a contract with Valley Transit District, in which we've provided 198 clients last year with 7,000 rides to their medical appointments and to see their doctors. As the chart demonstrates, there's a greater proportion of older adult women who seek services as a means to defray costs and remain in their homes with greater independence. Lastly, we have a case management program that works to holistically assess older adults. And what we do here is offer a variety of benefits that we can help seniors to get onto, whether that's Medicaid or helping with Social Security or SSDI or cash assistance, all of these benefit packages. We help people to apply for our energy assistance program to get support that way. And we also do referrals onto the Connecticut Home Care Program or any of the other waiver programs. So we're really looking in the end to reduce household expenditures and improve their economic conditions. by offering these programs. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us today, and we're here for any questions.
No, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. And of the women, older women clients that you were just speaking about, do any of them come to you saying they would like employment, part or full-time employment?
Yes, so we also have our family support program where anybody who's coming in the door looking for employment, they're welcome to benefit by the GAIN program that Lily was just speaking about. We do job searches with our individuals. So yes.
Because I'm going to give you a referral. So one of the organizations that our office has met is called Seniors Helping Seniors. And so I don't know if you know them, but they're good to meet because for those energetic women and men, they hire men too, who are looking to be companions for other older adults. It works both ways. You know, they are able to um, make money, also connect with another senior, and Seniors Helping Seniors are very good at matching people with similar interests or whose personalities they think would mesh. And also, a lot of the programs that you are talking about are offered at senior centers across the state because as we go to talk to seniors about our social connection campaign, because so many seniors are lonely, right? A spouse died, or they're living alone and they want to get involved. Like I talked to a woman at a senior center in Wallingford who told me, after my husband died, I just thought I was going to pass away myself, but somebody suggested that I go to the senior center. And so now she goes every day. She's involved in their exercise programs and she's connected and she's made a friend group and she has lunch with those folks every day. And now it's just a part of her life in a lot of different ways. There are all kinds of fun classes, but senior centers also offer those transportation to medical appointments, the Meals on Wheels, the mental health referrals, or even medical or other programs for government assistance, like you mentioned, energy or SNAP, all of those things. So that's one part of what Teams is doing that I was not aware of. But I think it's important for people who are part of this conversation or who are watching on CTN that senior centers offer a lot of the same things. So if someone's listening and they're saying, oh my goodness, but I don't live in the Waterbury area, that's okay. Go to your senior center. Because there is a lot of stuff happening in all of our communities that can help our older adults. So any questions for, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we have to have the microphone so people can hear you, Daleen.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. My name is Dalianne. I'm the System Director for Maternal Health Equity at Hartford Healthcare. And my question is, you may have said this, but in the work that you do with providing coverage for watching children, is that tied at all with Care for Kids as far as the coverage?
So the providers that are coming to us, most of them that are just starting their business at the beginning when they're joining our network, Care for Kids is one of the resources that's available. And so we're helping them to build that connection. So we're giving them the knowledge and just getting them providing technical assistance around, using computer and getting on and showing them the way to take the trainings that they need to be approved by Care for Kids to provide those services. So that's, once they are ready, then we're passing them on to go ahead and continue with the process of being approved by Care for Kids to provide those services and get paid.
And part of the reason why I was asking the question is because my understanding of Care for Kids is you need to already be able to can show like a paycheck to show that you've worked in order for you to qualify. So is it that Care for Kids is accepting what you're saying as far as the person's commitment to work that is allowing them to then be able to get that child care coverage? If you're following what I'm saying, usually you need to show that you've been working in order for them to say, okay, yes.
It's a chicken and egg problem.
Exactly, exactly.
Is that more for like the parents that are receiving the Care for Kids?
I'm just wondering if your relationship with Care for Kids makes it so that you're able to vouch for them to say that these, individuals are working towards getting this. And so though they may not have a pay stub right now, they are planning on doing that work. And what do you do as the buffer in between for them to get the hours to show the paycheck if that's what's needed?
I can just speak on behalf of, we have family support specialists, caseworkers who work often with households, and they can accept a letter of hire, but we're typically helping them to find a job, land that job, use the letter of hire in the application process. And so it is sort of a chicken and an egg, but we are working with the clients in the process of doing that. So it might be a small week or two to get that rolling, but they do, I believe they do accept a letter of hire, but you do have to have a job and be able to show that earning. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have any other questions in the chat, Tracy? Well, a team, go ahead, please.
Thank you. I just want to thank you guys for the presentation. And again, coming from the Department of Children and Families, looking at the lifespan and not only trying to address the issue of affordable childcare, but then also the employability and the training and trying to support people in their efforts to get themselves to a place where they can have employment that will allow them to have a wage that's sustainable. So I've heard of the program, but you guys provided some additional details today that was really helpful. And so I'll be sure to share that back on our end. With our folks that work with a lot of the families, or many of them in any event, that are struggling with some of those issues. So thank you so much.
And Lieutenant Governor, if I may, we will share with you and your staff and the council, to your point around the isolation for older adults. There are clear studies, this, that the physical and metaphysical impact to isolation for seniors, even the very story you described, is very real. And
yes, it's being lonely is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I don't know how many cigarettes are in a pack, but I'm pretty sure it's like smoking a pack of cigarettes
you
a day.
nailed it.
Yep.
You nailed it, Lieutenant
Yep.
Governor.
Mental and physical. Exactly.
And some of the work that Jillian described and the team here, Lillian can send it to your team and the staff, but just in January, Griffin Health Services amplified the video that had 3 testimonials that really embodied what you said, where you'd hear an older adult, not only that was able to connect with other human beings, but the way they said it, they said, I want to thank team for the opportunity to help someone else, and it gave me a higher purpose. And the gentleman's, again, in his 70s and 80s. I mean, it is so powerful. And so we'll send that to you. And then we can also send to Hartford Healthcare and the others, know your landscape of childcare access. There's a Care for Kids lane to talk, and I'll skip that. But this is why childcare matters, and why knowing where those infant toddler spaces are that can give a family an opportunity to start. And it absolutely is a chicken and egg. Asking families to pay a childcare cost that rivals and often exceeds their monthly mortgage or rent is not a choice to any family. And so knowing those subsidized childcare points where somebody can bring their child for care,
We are
pursue their
a
dreams,
website that's going to do that.
and then get care for
pretty
kids.
soon.
That's
yes.
right.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we could send you that too.
And also, I think what team and our team in the Lieutenant Governor's office should do one of our social connection panels in your area, so that we can let folks know in your area what you're doing and why it's important. So what we're going to do is, this is perfect timing, because now we have Live Girl on the virtual line here, and we're going to have Sherry West and some members of Live Girl to talk about how they are building confident, inclusive, career-ready female leaders. We just had a rally.
Yes.
last
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much, Lieutenant Governor. And I just want to start by thanking you for championing the work of the Council for Women and Girls, and also for partnering with us last week to host, I think, one of the most energetic Day of
So
the
fun.
Girl rallies ever.
Singing, dancing, poetry, fabulous female leaders. Oops, did we lose Sherry? Hopefully she's coming back to us.
Oh, I'm here.
There you go. Sorry, we must
Yep,
have kept
it's
that
okay.
in.
It's okay. Yes, it was very inspiring and uplifting. I think it was the hug that we all needed at this moment. We were able to amplify the stories of several of our student leaders, and also bring together about 15 different organizations statewide that are serving women and girls. Just an example of some of the advocacy work we do. But today, we thank you for the opportunity to talk about the programming that we're running statewide to build confident, career-ready leaders. I will be handing the mic to a few of our brilliant staff members. I put their names in the chat. And then also, you're going to have the opportunity to hear directly from a few of our mentors and a mentee so that you can hear directly on the impact of our work. I am going to share my screen. We have a short presentation that we'll be taking you through. So first, to start off, I actually would just like to ask you all a question, to think back to your teen years, maybe middle school, early high school, and to think about who mentored you during that time, or who showed up for you during that time of figuring it out and self-discovery. Maybe it was a family member, a teacher, a coach, and I want you to reflect on how they made you feel. And if you're so inclined, if you're on Zoom, you can put a word in the chat. Maybe it's they made you feel supported, for example, or any other word that you choose that your mentor made you feel. And Lieutenant Governor, not to put you on the spot, but if you can think back and reflect on a mentor you had, how did they make you feel?
The Lieutenant Governor had to step away for a second.
Oh, okay.
Step in. That's okay. It's Commissioner Hamilton. I'll answer for myself, and then she can join.
Thank
But
you. Thank you.
I think that question is so great, and I would say that it would have been my mother. And I think back, it's a long, many years back to get to high school, because I'm in that senior category that the that the team folks just talked about. But I would say really the feeling was around empowerment and encouragement. So that would be my response. And when the Lieutenant Governor returns, I'll have her turn her mic on and answer if that.
Oh, no, thank you. That was, thank you for jumping in. And I see some other words in the chat: inspired, supported. If anyone else wants to add their word in the chat. Imara said that her mentor made her feel heard and seen. We hear that a lot. So yes, and we know overall that girls and young women who have a mentor are 130% more likely to achieve leadership. So that's probably why a lot of you are here today in leadership positions in the government and in the various organizations that are represented, because you had a mentor. And that's what we do at Live Grow. We are providing free of charge leadership, mentorship, and career readiness programming to girls ages 10 to 22, statewide in Connecticut. We serve about 2,500 girls and young women per year. All of our programs are evidence-based. All of our programs are free of charge. And all of our programs are working to help girls and young women build the skills they need, but also provide them with the mentors, role models, and access to opportunity, including paid internships, to thrive. And we're going to be talking to you about that today. So our why in today's world, I'm sure I don't need to explain this, but we all know that in girls, confidence plummets during adolescence and never recovers, to the point that by age 18, nearly half of those girls don't believe that they're smart enough for their dream career. And at the same time, we also know that when women lead, everyone benefits. We know that companies with more women leaders are more profitable, productive, innovative, resilient, and have healthier workplace cultures. So we are working to make sure that the girls and young women in Connecticut and beyond don't become these statistics, that they have these opportunities to lead. And what we do is we have built a very robust leadership ladder. And so what that looks like is if you start at the bottom, you might have a girl who attends the Stanford Boys and Girls Club join us through a middle school confidence club that's run twice during the school year. She might then join us in the summer for summer camp, which is a combination of our leadership development and also our STEM design lab. Then when she matriculates to high school, she will join our High School She Thrives program. She might go back to camp as a camp counselor, also join our leadership council. And then finally, when she's in college, she's definitely going to be working with Hannah and She Works to build her career readiness skills and probably gain and land her first paid internship through She Works. And through all of this time period, if she needs either all along the way or just at certain times, she'll be getting a She Cares mentor with Farrell, our social worker, and Farrell will be talking about that. So this is just an overview, but what we really want to do is give you some direct line of sight into our specific program. So I'm going to hand it over to Hannah Jean-Pierre, our She Works program manager.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Jean-Pierre. I am the program manager for She Works, our college career readiness and internship program at LiveGirl. And just echoing what Sherry said, we are on a mission to launch confident and inclusive career ready, but with me, college women. And so I just want us to take a moment to just imagine if like every college woman we knew had the confidence, clarity, and also connections to land her first job and actually thrive in it. Like, what would that mean for our workplaces and our communities? I believe they will be completely transformed. And so that's why at She Works, we really recognize that though these students may have all the talent, it's the opportunity that may be lacking, right? And so many college women, especially women of color, first-gen students, they enter the workforce without the mentorship, without the networks or the confidence that they really need to thrive. And so She Works works really, really hard every year to change that. We equip our college women through paid internships, career readiness training, mentorship, networking events, and social capital, all free of charge, so that our students can not just find their first job, but when they get into their careers, they will be flourishing. And so we see that professional programs that combine mentorship and leadership development actually increase job placement rates by up to 60% post-graduation. And so when students leave She Works, they don't just have a polished resume, but they actually have clarity, they have confidence, and then they also have community. And so we are building a pipeline of women who are leading with purpose, who are leading with inclusion, and who are ready to make an impact in every space that they step into. So when the students join She Works, they're not just getting access to these amazing internships, right? But we have networking events. We have mentors that come from various companies. They're women who want to pay it forward. They meet with all of our students on Zoom. So the students are walking into these awesome internships knowing that they have the networking skills, they have the social capital. And then each year we have about 200 women that apply to the program. And so it's a phenomenal cohort that we're able to build. And it's mandatory that each member actually participates in every single component. So we are really doing the work to launch the women in our program, and we have a phenomenal mentorship program. I really believe this is one of the secret sauce to why She Works is so successful, because of who we partner with. And you're actually going to hear from Dr. Marquita and Mahi. They were actually a mentor and a mentee that participated in She Works mentoring. And so they're going to really speak to that experience so that you can hear it firsthand. So I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Marquita first.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Marquita Burnett, and I am an assistant professor at the University of Connecticut. I had the absolute honor of serving as a mentor for the She Works program this past summer. I cannot say enough good things about LiveGirl and the opportunities that they provide to support the next generation of bold and confident leaders. Mentorship really is the gift that keeps on giving. And so each time that you mentor, you are planting a seed whose fruit will one day change the world as we know it. And so for me, being a mentor is not about having all of the answers, but it's about being present. It's listening with care and compassion, and it's providing your mentee with a safe space to ask questions and discover. For me, one of the most special moments this past summer was seeing the eyes of my mentees light up as they talked about their dreams in new ways. They were convinced that their dreams were attainable and they were confident in the young women that would make it happen themselves. So it was really always in their reach, but they just needed someone to remind them that their dreams were worth holding on to. So I hope that you join us in supporting the next generation of dreamers. Thank you.
And then Mahi, if you're on, you can also take the floor.
Sure. Hi. So my name is Mahi, and I'm a junior majoring in mechanical engineering at the University of Maryland. And I've been involved with SheWorks for the past 2 years, and so I'm here to speak on my experience as a mentee this past summer. So Hannah connected me with a senior design engineer at CAT, otherwise known as Caterpillar, and I'm actually very glad to be able to be here and talk about my mentorship experience because it truly was so transformative for me because it wasn't just transformative in terms of building my career, but it was also my confidence. So I remember on my first call with her, with my mentor, she made it very clear that these sessions were here to help me and they're tailored to help me succeed. So applying to the engineering job market is definitely a very new experience for me. And being able to have an opportunity to ask someone who is in the field that I want to go into, who is holding a career, a job that I want to attain, that being able to ask someone like that for advice was incredibly more valuable to me than reading tips and tricks on the internet because it gave me the confidence that getting an internship in this field, it wasn't just a dream, it was something that actually was within my reach. It actually was attainable. And, you know, in our sessions, we did resume reviews, mock interviews, LinkedIn reviews, and that was the first time that I felt that, wow, like my degree isn't just something I'm doing classes in. It's not just something I go to school for, but it's something that when I leave college, there's an internship, there's something where I can really pursue what I've been studying for. And it was really the first time, I think, after we had finished all the resume reviews for like my resume, I remember that was the first time that I looked at this piece of paper in front of me that had my name on it, had my education, and this piece of paper was something I felt actually reflected my accomplishments. It was an accurate reflection of my hard work. And that was such a breath of fresh air. Because I think no matter how much people tell you that you're going to accomplish something, that it's possible, if someone is showing you that they're taking the time to not just invest in your resume or just make your resume look good, but they're investing in you and your future, then that makes all the difference. And that's what inspires confidence. And overall, my mentor, she really just did that for me. She exuded confidence, respect, kindness. And, you know, she was that person who told me that my dream, my degree isn't just a dream, it's a future that is now, and that future is possible. So I'm very grateful to her, and she works for this. And overall, I'm just so grateful to talk about this. So thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Farrell Lindeman. I am a licensed social worker, and I'm the She Cares program manager at Live Girl. So She Cares supports the mental wellness of our girls through free mentoring, educational workshops, and trauma-informed care that is integrated into all of our programming. And She Cares reaches over 600 Connecticut girls a year. And at Live Girl, we want to make sure that as we're telling the girls, you can be these confident, career ready leaders, we are also supporting their mental wellness. Because as we know, the adolescents in Connecticut are really struggling with their mental health. According to the 2023 Connecticut School Health Survey, 46% of high school girls say they felt sad or hopeless. And I know that we're not all social workers here today, but you don't need to be a social worker to care about that statistic and to want to invest in the mental health of our youth. And so that is why through She Cares mental wellness mentoring, You don't need to be a social worker or a therapist to make a difference. She Cares Mentoring is Live Girl's free virtual mentoring program where mentees and their mentors meet for 30 minutes a week on Zoom. And She Cares Mentoring provides a place where our mentees who are middle school, high school, and college age girls can be themselves, speak freely, talk about, their favorite hobby and connect with their trained mentor. And as Sherry mentioned before, mentoring really can change a girl's life. It shifts their confidence. You can see it shift how they view themselves and their connection with the world around them, which is also the loneliness we were talking about earlier. It connects them to what's going on. And so I would like to invite you to get involved with our youth because I know a minute ago I cited a statistic about their sadness, but I also want to tell you about this generation's resilience, their passion for the things that they care about, their amazing sense of humor, and their creativity. And it is such a fulfilling thing to be a mentor. And so, to prove it to you, I want to introduce you to one of our amazing She Cares mental wellness mentors, Tiffany Valentine, and you can hear it for yourself.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me. My name is Tiffany Valentine, and I'm a She Cares mentor with Live Girl Inc. My professional background has been in commercial banking the last 17 years, but I originally became involved with mentoring in Live Girl after the positive impact it had on my sister during her high school years. I was matched with my mentee about 3 years ago, who was having a hard time connecting with someone she felt would understand her struggles, as well as her cultural and religious background. It made her hesitant to open up to someone, but we ended up hitting it off and having a lot in common since we were both from the Caribbean. I've been able to relate to her family dynamic and her upbringing. And this ended up helping us immensely when it came to building trust between us. And she was able to lean on me and ask me things that she felt she couldn't ask anyone else. This included the thought process and execution of moving out and living on her own for the first time, starting her career as a teacher, and beginning her mental health journey, finding a therapist and obtaining a diagnosis. I can be that consistent person in her life where she doesn't feel judged when she wants to bounce an idea off of me or is seeking an unbiased opinion or even guidance on major life decisions. On the flip side, she's also gotten to know me as I've shared appropriate life experiences along our journey and made connections during our conversations. So our mentor-mentee relationship is a two-way street. She gets excited when she can teach me something I admit I have no clue what it is or how to use it, like Canva, ChatGPT, and TikTok. Those little things really do add value to a relationship, and I know she feels good when I share that I took her advice and I finally posted something. It also brings me joy that over the years, I've been able to see her excitement grow as an educator when she sends me pictures and videos of her classroom setups and shares test results that came in for her class that were higher compared to the previous year. Sometimes I even get a little teary-eyed because I know how hard she is working while also navigating her own mental health journey. Even if we may not have something specific to talk about during our sessions, we catch up on life and I remind her to take time for herself, de-stress, or even just drink her water. After even a brief conversation, she's thanked me because it took some weight off of her shoulders to simply just de-stress from the day. Being an active listener can make all the difference. Currently, we are both working on setting time aside on our calendars to become a little bit more professionally organized, but also to set boundaries and set time aside for the things that we enjoy. I think that is what is important for the next generation of mentors to understand. Sometimes people want to talk it out, and sometimes they're looking to connect with someone so they don't feel alone in whatever it is that they're experiencing. So thank you for having me, and I hope my story as a mentor can empower the next generation.
That's great. Okay. So, hello, everyone. My name is Lilian Gutierrez, and I am the COO for Live Girl. You have heard from stakeholders, from staff, and most importantly, from the people we serve and those that serve the people we serve, mentors and mentees. So thank you for that. You've heard about data, anecdotal data even. And why, Live Girl exists, and it's all powerful information. When we look at the journey from adolescence to young adulthood, we see a troubling pattern of sadness, anxiety, stress, not feeling smart. And this is all what our She Cares manager talked about earlier. So this is why Live Girl really exists. It is why we started way back in 2014 to provide the tools and the resources to girls and young adult women ages from 10 to 22 need to thrive, both personally and professionally. And to date, we have served more than 20,000 girls and young women through our programs, including our unique She Works program as presented by Hannah. More than 2,600 girls and young women were served last year, and 74% identified as girl and women of color. In reality, for Live Girl, zip code has no meaning. We know for sure that there is a girl in a community that is needing our resources. And so for that reason, we have facilitated across the state of Connecticut 65 internships just last year. We delivered almost 1,600 hours of mentoring and leadership programming and 42 confidence clubs. We have even witnessed a 10% increase in mentoring hours year over year. And the impact? Well, 96% of our participants reported feeling more confident. 100% said they feel more career ready. And this is exactly what the young women need. And this is why Live Girl's model is unique in that we're looking at that cycle early on from the young age of 10, and as I said earlier, all the way to age 22. And so parents have told us their daughters are more empathetic, more inclusive, and more self-assured. So the numbers you have seen through the screen here, they are just not metrics. They represent transformation. Behind each percentage is a girl who discovered what's possible when someone invests time, attention, and believes in her. And so that's why mentoring or mentorship is essential to Live Girl's mission. It is how we close that confidence gaps and all of those barriers that you heard earlier. This is how we begin to help build career pathways and ensure that every young woman, doesn't matter her background or her zip code, has a fair shot at leadership. And so as we close, I want to bring it back to why we are all here today. It's not just to talk about our programs. It's not just to talk about the impact. It's really about making girls and women's lives more impactful in the right direction. It is about mentorship and to answer its call. So if you're wondering how to make a lasting difference, this is it. Partner with us, be our connector. I always say this everywhere I go. There is someone that you know that can definitely partner with Live Girl, but also think of yourself as being someone that can also help out. Become a She Works mentor and be that person that helps make a difference in someone's life. Invest in the next generation of women leaders. And so when you mentor through us, through the She Works program, you're not only guiding a career, you're opening a door that stays open for those who come next. And as I always say too, is mentorship isn't a moment. It's really a movement. And together we can ensure that every girl has the confidence, the skills, and the opportunities to rise. And it's not cliche either, but really because when girls rise, we all rise. And so, just take this call to action as really a real need for you to help make a difference in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I think that one thing we've seen over centuries, men have had mentorship ingrained in everything that they do, right? Whether it's sports teams or the workplace, playing golf, mentoring has happened at every stage of life. And I mean, I remember when I was growing up, girls couldn't be on little league teams, right? which my daughters scratch their heads when they hear that. So much has happened, but there's so much more to do. And I love the theme of mentorship that is at the heart of what Live Girl does. And we know from the Lieutenant Governor's office that we have internship programs, and I have hired some of my best employees from our fabulous college interns. And we've also hired, Governor and I have hired people who were interns on our campaigns. So some of the best state employees and public servants that we have come from mentorship, and we are very grateful for what Live Girl does. And so let's have any questions. Are there no questions in the chat? Any questions in the room? Oh, go ahead, Mariana.
Thank you. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And thank you so much, both of you, for an amazing presentation. It's really what we need at the moment. I have worked for many years with women in corporate, and you can trace back, right, whether they have been, in fact, mentored in the past and then sponsored as a professional, right, later in life. My question is, do we have any opportunity to outreach to communities such as, for example, the kids in foster care? Because it occurred to me that both the mentoring opportunity as well as the beautiful programs that you offer to ramp up, right, with economically speaking, could be of service. I don't know if that is something that.
Ooh, and we have the commissioner of DCF in the room. So how cool is that? We can make that partnership happen if it's not already happening.
Yes, that's an excellent question. We have been able to partner for Live Girl. We have been able to partner with agencies that provide services to youth that are at-risk youth. That is at the core of what we do. And that's why I referenced earlier that zip code has no meaning to us. I mean, where we are needed, we're there, we're very, very present. And our first target, it's really to reach out to girls that are living in foster care. And so we have partnerships, but of course, again, those are with community centers as well as DCF.
I have a question as well. Susan?
Hi, Lindy. Please,
Hi.
we're seeing you. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm very curious. I still don't have a handle on how this works, whether there are ever in-person meetings, whether the girls actually get to network with each other, and whether the mentors actually do. And I'm curious to know what differentiates Live Girl from the other mentoring programs that are in the marketplace that also say they're statewide.
This is another excellent question, and I want to add some things to it, and I'm sure my colleagues will do the same. What makes us unique is not only that we are preparing the young girls and the young women, both early on, as I shared earlier, they are in middle school all the way to college, right? Those that are in college, whether they are in the process of graduating the initial, freshman years or where they have graduated, we want to ensure that they are prepared for the workforce. Throughout their journey and through our program, we ensure that there is our licensed social worker who is an outstanding source of support and knowledge to be available, not only during their journey, but through each of our programs. And so an example would be also our summer camp, which is a very powerful source for girls. We have learned that the need to have our social worker present during our curriculum, as part of our curriculum, is a need because we understand the issues and the barriers that they are encountering. So when you think about our program, it's not just about preparing them through some type of virtual or on-site mentoring, but it's also thinking, what are the aspects that are missing that we can help fill? So that would be, again, that support system of, and Farrell, you can attest to this, the social work aspect, because that is so needed. we have girls from all backgrounds that at the end of the day, the common denominator is really that they are stressed, they lack confidence, they are going through periods of sadness, and the list goes on and the issues persist throughout their development. And we want to be able to dismantle those barriers, ensure that they don't become a statistic. And so that's why our program comes full circle, again, from age 10 to 22. And I hope Sherry and Farrell and Hannah, that you can add to it and correct me if I have said anything that is inaccurate.
Also, it'd be helpful to know how you recruit.
Yes. Hannah, you can speak to that as well. If not, I'll be happy to answer. I just want to give everyone else a chance.
I'm gonna, we're gonna have to cut off questions at this time, but Sherry West, I'm gonna ask that you follow up with Lindy Lee Gold, who was the person who was asking questions, if you would.
Great.
Because-
Lindy, if you just want to drop your email in the chat, I'm happy to follow up. And Judith, I see you have a question in the chat as well, so I'll just direct you to the pages in the annual report that answer your questions.
All right, fantastic. I want to thank Live Girl and Team Inc. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentations. We are so grateful to be able to learn more about the great work that you both are doing, and we look forward to continued partnership. So we are going to turn to subcommittee reports and updates. So I'm wondering if any of our subcommittee chairs or designees have any announcements or reports. And Tracy, nothing in the chat. Okay, excellent. So we're going to go on to our announcements because we really do try to keep to our hour meetings. We want to briefly address the process for submitting ideas for legislation because we are getting ready for a session. It starts February 4th and runs through May 6th. My general counsel will be disseminating the OPM, Office of Policy and Management form for legislation submission. So all these fabulous ideas that you have percolating, we would like to see them in the form of legislative proposals because we've had some great things like the Early Childhood Endowment Program, paid leave, and other things that have become a reality because they were a legislative proposal. So we'd ask the subcommittee chairs to review proposals that you get and discuss them if it's appropriate and send them to my general counsel, Tracy Apuku. And she is wearing the gold dress in the corner. And we need to have those in advance of our January full council meeting. And the earlier that you get your proposal in, the earlier your proposal might become a governor's proposal. So let's get the ideas flowing in. And between now and then, we are going to be reviewing those proposals, and they will be sent through the Office of Policy Management process as well, and they will be reviewed by Governor Lamont. So please give us your ideas. Any questions about that process? Please ask Tracy. And I think that we are getting close to the end, and I do want to give you our fabulous dates because we want everyone to mark their calendars. So as I said at the beginning of the meeting, our full council meeting, this is the last one for this year. So we are going to be issuing the dates for the 2026 meetings shortly, so watch for that. We do have dates for our upcoming subcommittee meetings for the rest of 2025. So here they are. Leadership Subcommittee is going to be meeting December 3rd at 3 p.m. on Teams. Economic Opportunity and Workforce Equity Subcommittee is scheduled to meet on November 4th, Election Day, at 3 o'clock. Good thing I am not on that committee. All right, the Education and STEAM Subcommittee is scheduled for November 12th at 3 o'clock on Teams, and the Health and Safety Subcommittee is scheduled to meet on December 1st at 10 a.m. on Teams. So if you would like an invitation to any of these subcommittee meetings, please let us know in the chat or send an email to my general counsel. And the other thing that I would like to ask is this. Many of our state agencies have fabulous programs and events that impact women and girls. So if you have any of those going on in your agency, let us know, because our office and the Council on Women and Girls can help you make that event successful, and we can participate. So I think that is it, but we will look one more time to see if anybody has any other announcements, either here in this room or on Zoom. Tracy? Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you at the subcommittee meetings. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.